Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Just finished a nice little leg workout. For me, it's about 1 a.m. You know what I mean? And it's done. It's done. I'm a night owl. I like kind of lifting late when the world is asleep, but I still sometimes get tired if I sit too long and it get a little bit dark. But I made it through. And after going through that workout, I really started thinking, obviously, the workout wasn't easy. Doing legs at 1 a.m. when your body is kind of half asleep, it's not the easiest thing to do. But I was thinking about how many people choose the easy route. And where does easy really get you? Easy makes today comfortable, you know? Easy make things seem like they're good in the near future. But 10, 20, 30 years down the line from now, the easy that you thought was in this moment is really just real pain. It's just postponed pain, you can say. It's postponed regret by you taking the easy route right now, thinking that it will serve you in the long run. And you see people all the time. You see comments underneath certain people's videos, and you got a lot of Debbie Downers out there. You got a lot of people who it's play the victim, and that's another thing that's easy to do. It's easy to play the victim. It's easy to see for your first time to experience or be aware of somebody and seeing them at their peak, at their zenith, and thinking that's where they started at, and say, "Oh, must be nice." Especially when the work is done behind the scenes, and you saw none of the work they got put into it. Obviously, there's some people who do get handouts in life, but that's how it is. But there's a lot of people who worked for what they got. And instead of people acknowledging that and wanting to seek similar results to that, understanding it's possible seeing somebody did it before you, they'd rather point the finger and come up with excuses on how they did it. If they cheated, if they lied to people, if they stole, instead of coming up with a solution to start their journey and get to where they got to. And I was once like that. I wasn't that bad as far as like making excuses. I always put my own work in, but there was times where I thought, damn, why couldn't my life be easier? Why couldn't I have these people in my life to help me get here? You know what I mean? And that's the easiest thing to do. But all that really does in the moment is stop you from finding a solution to your problems. Stopping you from coming up with new thoughts, coming up with new habits. And that keeps you at a victim mindset, which basically stagnates your life without you really realizing it. And I had to sit back and realize because I'm not a religious person at all, but there's a verse in the Bible. Cause I think that all religious texts can be interpreted in many different ways. You can read it as a story, like how it's retarded, or you can see it metaphysical, or as how human nature plays out in all different types of scenarios in life. But there's a verse that says, "Many are called, but few are chosen." And at first, when I was younger, I kind of thought that meant like many people are born, obviously, but there's a certain amount of people who are born with a certain gift, born with a certain purpose to like spread to the world. And that still may be true. I'm not God. I didn't create that. I didn't create the meaning for what that's for. But now, as I get older, I'm starting to really think it kind of can also resemble how many people are born, and that's you being called because just the fact that you're born out of all the possibilities that could have happened says that you're called. But only a few will be chosen, as far as only a few will realize their gifts or try to seek their gifts or try to seek something outside of what society puts on us, what society wants us to know. You know what I mean? And it's easy to not seek your higher self. It's easy to just stay in the same position that you're in right now, but you're missing out on so much of life when you do that. And you don't need a new life. You don't need to be in somebody else's circumstances. You don't need to have the help that somebody else had to get their dream body or live a luxury lifestyle. All you really got to do is tap into the highest potential of yourself. You might be like, oh, no way. But did you really try? Probably not. We all have a certain gift. We all are special to our own right. And there's not a limited amount of doors on earth. Like there's only a limited amount of doors and only a select few people get access to that door in a lifetime. No. There's unlimited amount of doors for each and every person, but each and every person isn't going to do the work to discover those doors. They ain't going to put the effort to discover their higher self, discover the potential that lays beneath the surface, you know? And with that, you're closing the door in your life. You're closing your door to just unlimited experiences. You're closing the door to just fulfillment, the true happiness that most people are seeking. Not through the materialistic things that you think is supposed to make us happy or what somebody else has got that you don't have. True happiness within. So just become the best version of yourself. Your story is your story. It's not going to look like nobody else's, and it's not supposed to look like anybody else's. And I find it very ironic how a lot of people, since I've been born, I can recall, they pick on you for being different, you know, not fitting into the norm or what society says is the norm. But in the same breath, if everybody was exactly the same, the world would be boring. There would be no variety. And then people would complain about that also. So be yourself. Your journey is for you. And it's not supposed to look like theirs. Because if it did, there would be no point of you living. Because if your journey is supposed to look like somebody else's who already did it, what's the point of you doing the same exact thing? There is no point. So there's a level of you that exists that has yet to be untapped. And the world isn't going to help you until you help yourself. The world isn't going to tell you that it exists. You have to do the work and discover the depths within you to see that version of yourself. When it comes to your body, you're going to sacrifice food, you're going to sacrifice going out, you're going to sacrifice friends, sleep, get more sleep for your muscle to recover properly, for you to see your dream body. When it comes to business and money, you're going to save. You're going to have to stop splurging on things that you really don't need. You're going to have to stop eating out. You're going to have to start cooking more to see your money grow. And then you got to ask yourself, which is the best question in the world when you start doubting yourself or thinking it's something worth it. Is 6 months to a year worth 40 more years? Like, is 6 months to a year of uncomfortability, of you changing, of you morphing into this new identity of yourself, worth the next 40 years of you living the life you want to live? Or would you rather just keep making excuses right now and living the same average, mediocre life that you resent, but you're making excuses to cover up? The funny thing is, the choice is all of ours. You know, I made my choice starting this channel. I could have easily kept postponing it, but I said, no, the time is now. I want to see what potential in myself that I have yet to untap. And I'm seeing it in real time. And I wish everybody out there can discover the same. Even when it comes to your body. Socrates said it best. It's a shame for a man to grow and die old and not see the strength and beauty that his body is capable of. The choice is yours. You know, you can come up with excuses, but it's not really going to do anything. Excuses feel good right now in the moment, but they lead to regret later on. Just like taking the easy route. It feels good right now in the moment, but leads to regret later on.